No idea how to play that. Hey, what's up guys? I'm PokerfaceAsh and welcome to my channel. Tonight I'm gonna play a 2-3 session 600 max buy-in at Lone Butte. And if you guys watched my last vlog, my most recent vlog, you know that it was a rough session. So today we're ready. I got the phone charger, I got the battery charger. I'm ready to hopefully have a way better session tonight. Not planning on being here for a ton of time, so hopefully we can get in some good hands, win some pots, and take home some cash. So I'll see you guys inside. Alright, in this very first hand, there's a very loose, aggressive player who plays almost every single hand. He has a very high VPIP. He's not afraid to put money in the pot. He's not afraid to bluff. And he's certainly not afraid to put all his chips in, whether he has it or he doesn't. So he limps under the gun. It folds around to me and I look down at Queen Jack of Spades in middle position, so I'm gonna bump it up and I make it $15 to go. The big blind decides to make the call and so does the loose limper, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. The flop is King of Spades, Jack of Hearts, 10 of Diamonds. The big blind checks and the limper decides to lead and he makes it $20. We have middle pair and an open-ended straight draw. We're not gonna fold just yet, especially against this player type, so we make the call, and the big blind also calls. The turn is an offsuit 7. The big blind checks again. The under the gun player bets 45. This is where I really have to make a decision. Do I have the correct odds to call? And do I think there's a possibility I can also still be ahead of the under the gun player? And in the moment, my answer to this was yes, so I decided to make the call for 45 because again, this player can show up with any hand here, and I still have a decent middle pair with my straight draw, so I'm not gonna give up just yet, so I make the call. The big blind gives up and folds, so we're heading heads up to a river card. The river is an interesting card. It pairs the board, it's another king. He checks it over to me and my hand is definitely in the showdown value class, so I check it hoping that my pair is good here, which against this player I think I'm good here a lot of the time, but unfortunately he rolls over the 8-9 offsuit. He flopped an open-ender and drilled it on the turn. He got max value out of me on that one, so congrats and nice hand, sir. In this hand, I look down at red 9s under the gun and I raise to $15. My buddy Jason, who's in middle position, decides to put in a 3-bet and he makes it $40 to go. I'm getting a good price and stacks are about 200 big blinds effective, so I'm gonna make the call here and we go heads up to a flop. The flop is Jack of Clubs, 8 of Spades, 5 of Diamonds. I check it over to him and he decides to check back, which I found to be a bit interesting. The turn is the Deuce of Hearts and I definitely can start betting here, especially because he checked the flop, but I am out of position and I do want to get to showdown. I don't want to get blown off my hand. We do have middle pair here, so I check and he checks yet again. The river is the 4 of Diamonds. Now I'm pretty sure I have the best hand, so I can go for value here. I can also check and hope that he puts out a bluff with a hand like Ace Queen, Ace King, although I would expect him to c-bet a lot of these, so I was a bit confused in the hand if I'm being completely honest, but at this point I would just be happy to get to showdown in this 3-bet pot with my pocket 9s, so I do check it over to him and he does check and he flips over Ace King and I show him the bad news. I definitely think I could have played that hand a bit better and gone for some value, but it is what it is and we'll learn for the next time around. Alright, we're looking to get in the mix in this hand. The player who I said is super aggro and very loose and can have any 2 cards, he raises to 15 in early position. A guy in middle position makes the call, and I look down at Jack 9 of Clubs in late position and I decide to make the call here. We go 3 ways to a flop. The flop is King of Spades, Jack of Diamonds, 8 of Clubs. It checks over to the gentleman in middle position and he fires out a bet of $25. I'm not gonna go anywhere just yet with my backdoor club draw and my pair, so I make the call. The turn brings an interesting card. It's the Queen of Clubs, so my backdoor flush draw does improve. He checks, and I think I had a little bit of a live read. My spidey senses were going off. When he checked this card being in position, I decided to check back and see what the river brings. The river was a complete brick. It was the Deuce of Diamonds. Our opponent fires a sizable value bet, and I put in the fold, and he flips over king queen offsuit, so we avoided disaster. I said I thought about betting the turn. He said he was going to rip it in on me, so I'm very happy that we saved some chips there by just trying to realize the equity of our hand. We could have played our hand either way, but in this case we definitely saved some chips.
I got you a kyanite necklace.
What?
I sell crystals. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool.
It's supposed to be help for calming and tranquility. So
I need that.
it's good at the poker table for sure. Yeah,
Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
thank you.
That's awesome. In this hand, the button straddle to $6, the small blind folds, the big blind calls the 6, under the gun folds, and I'm next to act, and I look down at 2 red kings. I put in the raise and I make it $20 to go. I get called in 4 spots, so we're going 5 ways to a flop with my pocket kings. I'm not thrilled about it, but we head to a flop of 10 of spades, 5 of hearts, 6 of diamonds. I don't have to put out a big bet here because me betting into multiple players after raising an early position is already polarizing enough, so my sizing doesn't have to be too big. Plus, there is some gut shot draws available, some backdoor draws available, so I want to keep all worse hands in here and also not inflate the pot because there's so many players still in the hand. So I put out a bet of $35, about 40% pot, and I was so shocked. As loose and crazy as this table was playing, everybody folded, nobody got a piece of that board. I was kind of bummed, but at the same time, I'm happy to take down a pot. In this hand, there's a raise from middle position to $15. The hijack calls to 15, and I look down in the cutoff with pocket aces. So I'm going to put in a 3-bet in position here. I'm not going to go too big, but I also have to take into account that there was one caller in between, so I decide on a sizing of $55. To my surprise, the big blind cold calls the 55, and the original raiser and caller both fold, so we're going heads up to a flop in position against the big blind. The flop is 9-4-5 with 2 spades. The big blind checks, and I'm going to put in a down bet here, and I make it $35, and sadly, he folds, but we do pick up another nice pot, and we're heading to the next hand. Alright, taking a quick break here. Hopefully they won't yell at me for taking off my mask, but been a pretty card dead, except I played a few hands with pocket jacks, but was insanely card dead for a while. What's up, man? And yeah, just hanging in there, plugging away. I think I'm up 100 or so at this point. Nothing too crazy's happened yet. Had some big hands, and unfortunately the opponent's folded flop, but I'm feeling okay, feeling a bit hungry, so I'm going to grab a snack and get refueled here so I get my energy levels up. But so far it's been so cool. We had like at least about 6 to 8 people come to the table that wanted to play and have some fun. I got a cool gift from Cameo who brought me a necklace, so shout out to you, thank you. Also to Frank who brought me another Pokemon. Thanks, man, adding to my collection. So overall it's been super good vibes, fun table, fun atmosphere, and luckily for us we are not stuck in the game. So let's go back and finish the session strong and hopefully win some big pots. In this hand, the cutoff raises to 15. I look down at pocket jacks on the button, and I'm happy to put in a 3-bet with this hand, and I make it $45. My buddy Andrew cold calls from the big blind, and the original raiser calls, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. The flop is king, queen, 10 with 2 diamonds. We flop an open ender, but of course we've got the 2 over cards up there. Kinda sucks. The big blind checks, the original raiser checks, and I decide to check back with my pair of jacks and my open ender. The turn is a very interesting card. It is an offsuit jack, so we make trips on this 4-card straight board, and the big blind checks, the original raiser checks, and I decide to check back. I can only beat bluffs at this point, and there's no reason to put money in the pot. We can just hope that the board will pair, and we can possibly bluff catch on a river, but the river is a terrible, terrible card. It is an offsuit 9. The big blind puts out a bet of about $200. The original raiser folds, and now it's on me. This is a very polarizing bet. He's saying he either has an ace or absolutely nothing. Best case scenario, we chop. Even though I had a set, it's now downgraded to absolutely nothing. I gotta put in the fold, so he takes down the pot, and he said that he had ace-jack suited. So in this pot, the straddle is on the button and I'm next to act in the small blind and I look down at pocket jacks. I'm gonna raise it up here and make it $27 to go. The table has been very loose, splashy, and calling a lot of raises pre-flop. When I'd raised to $20 earlier when there's a straddle on, I got multiple callers, so it's okay in these situations to size up because the ultimate goal is to get heads up against somebody and not go multi-way with the hand because you end up sharing equity with multiple people and it's just hard to win pots multi-way without making a very strong hand. So we make it $27 to go. Only my buddy Frank calls in the cutoff, so we're going heads up to a flop. The flop is ace, 9, deuce, rainbow, about as dry as it gets, so I'm gonna put in a down bet of $20 and keep both ranges wide. He makes the call. The turn is another deuce. So now being out of position here, I don't want to give up my betting lead and my aggression. He can be calling with a wide range here. I have range advantage on this board. I also have the aggression advantage because I was the pre-flop raiser. So I'm going to keep the gas on being out of position here and not give him the chance to start taking the lead. So on this turn card, I put out a bet of $60, which is like a catch-all sizing, but he makes the fold and he shows king, queen of diamonds. So a perfect example of getting called a little bit lighter on the flop and pick up those extra big blinds. In this hand, we look down at pocket jacks yet again, and this time there's a button straddle on to $6. It folds all the way around to me, and I'm in the cutoff, so I'm just left of the dealer button, and I make it $25 to go. The button, who's a very good and aggressive player, he doesn't like to fold his straddles a lot, so he puts in the call. The flop is jack 5 deuce with 2 diamonds, so we flop top set here. Against this opponent, I'm not going to do anything tricky. I'm just going to bet my hand and go for value, so I put out a c-bet. I make it $15 and he puts in the call. The turn is an offsuit 3, and this guy's capable of having a wide range here, especially because he was putting on the straddle on the button. So I'm going to keep going for value and charge all of his draws and try to get value from his pairs, so I make it $40. He thinks for a bit and then puts in the call. The river is a beautiful 5, so we make a full house here. I'm not quite sure what he's holding, but I know I want to go for max value, so I put out a bet of $100. He thinks for a little bit, looks like he wants to make the call, tanks, and then finally puts in the fold. So he does let his hand go, but we do scoop a nice pot in one of our very last hands of the session. Hi, Frank. See you, Jason. The other Jason. All the Jasons. Bye. Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20, 40, and 1.
Thank you so much. So I'm leaving Lone Butte a lot different than last time. So we were in the game for 600, cashed out with $741 for a profit of $141. I was up around 300 and in the last couple orbits got into some hands where I just leaked a little bit of chips, so that was a bit of a bummer, but overall pretty happy with my play today. Felt like I didn't get in too many marginal spots and spots that cost me money. So overall, a nice session and a good way to end the day. If you enjoyed the vlog, would you do me a huge favor and go all in and like, comment, and subscribe? It would mean the world to me. Remember, we're just getting started on this journey. It's only up from here. I'll see you guys next time.